Hello and welcome to The Breakdown, everyone. I am your not-so-humble talking hairdo, Ben. Thanks for joining us today. We are coming to you live from the Neon Parrot live studios at the Majestic Coffee Shop, allegedly serving Onyx coffee. Come by and get you some, or a nice Topo Chico like I tend to do on Thursdays. We are coming to you from Abilene, Texas, the data center alley, as we like to call it now. But anyways, we have a full show for you guys today, and lots of different topics, lots of sports. We are back in action with the NFL playoffs. We have the national championship, the Indiana Hoosiers versus the Miami Hurricanes, and that is looking like that game, which will start the show with talking about the Hoosiers. That is looking like it's going to be a blowout, but I'm wrong all the time. I could be wrong, but the line is at Indiana -8. So I think that's a pretty safe bet. I think that Indiana could win by a lot of points. So you can take that to the bank, or you can fade me. And then we have the NFL playoffs going on. We have so much news in the NFL. We have Mike Tomlin stepping down as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's been there for 19 years. The Steelers are a very interesting organization. I've heard one guy compare them to the Amish people, because the Steelers are in Amish country and they tend to run their franchise like it was 100 years ago. They're always good. They're never great. They are always in the mix. They don't like to fire coaches. The last guy, goodness gracious, I think he's on the CBS show. Why can't I think of his name? Anyways, the former coach of the Steelers was there for, like almost 20 years as well. Art Rooney, I believe, is the owner. And they'd like to take their time and find what they consider to be the right guy. And it's going to be interesting to see who fills Mike Tomlin's shoes. Mike Tomlin won a Super Bowl with Big Ben Roethlisberger several years ago, and then ever since they've just been mediocre. They've been stuck in that land of they get to that first wild card playoff game and they lose, and their fans are kind of starting to get tired. But what's funny about that is, and I think Big Frank would also agree with me, is I would take that over my Raiders, which have just been abysmal failures for the last long time. They're basically like the Cowboys. And so I would take the Steelers' last 3 decades in a heartbeat, because they win Super Bowl once, every so many years, and they're always in the hunt. They're always in the mix, and they just need to draft and pay more offensive players, and they'll be good. So that'll be interesting. I can't wait to talk to Big Frank about all this stuff. He's going to be joining us here in about 10 minutes. But the Chicago Bears won their wild card game, and it was a crazy game. They were down big in the first half, came back. Caleb Williams plays like freaking Joe Montana in the fourth quarter, and how in the hell he does that, I'll never know. So before I get into too much sports, I watched, and I might get into this after Big Frank's segment as well, but I happened to watch the Golden Globes with my lovely lady the other night on Sunday. And I know a lot of sports and Hollywood and movies and the love of award shows doesn't go together. And I get that. That's why this is an interesting show for you people, because I'm a man of many parts. I love the award season. It's January, February situation. The Oscars is my favorite. The Golden Globes it's more of like your traditional, when your kid's in school and you go to the award ceremony, it's more like that. It used to be the monologue by Ricky Gervais, I think is how I pronounce his name, was epic in like 2019 or 2020. And he roasted everybody in that room. And if you get a chance to watch the opening monologue of Ricky Gervais a handful of years ago, it is just out of this world. Now they have Nikki Glaser. She's hosts the Golden Globes. She was pretty funny. She had some good ones in there, but you could tell she held back on a lot of people, because I think that's how Ricky lost his job doing that, is because he went too hard. But she did compare, as Sean Penn is sitting in front of her, just in the front row, basically. She's like, and Sean Penn still manages to look like a sexy leather handbag. And I thought that was really funny. And he's just sitting, because Sean Penn, man, he was actually smoking cigarettes in between the commercial breaks at his table. That guy gives 0 Fs. And it was pretty funny. And then she had another zinger against Leonardo DiCaprio. And she said something about he managed to win his first Golden Globe before his girlfriend turned 30 or something. It was some kind of bang against his, because Leo has this thing. I think this may be the first one in the history of the women that we know of that he's dated. But once a woman turns 25, she's out. He's never dated a girl older than 25, and the guy's 50 something now, But hey, that guy can do whatever he wants, and we can just like make fun of him or say we don't agree with his choices. He does not care. That guy's worth so much money, and he's an icon, And I take the personal stuff out, like Sean Penn's, he's an advocate of a lot of things that I probably wouldn't agree with. He's kind of a communist, but he's an incredible actor. And that's why I like watching movies. That's why I like these award season shows. I don't care what these people are in their personal lives or what causes they support or don't support. It's never been about that for me. And that's kind of like, I feel the same way with sports. Everybody has different opinions, and y'all know a lot of mine. And but the award season, I don't know. I guess I used to watch them when I was a kid too, maybe. But the Golden Globes is not real exciting. So I was reminded of that as I watched it. What movie? There was some great acceptance speeches. There was a couple of real emotional ones for some people that didn't think that they were going to win. And so let's talk before we get Big Frank on, a couple of movies that I want to see that I haven't seen, and then one that I have seen that are the award season movies. One of them is Marty Supreme with Timothée Chalamet. And he's really taken the Hollywood by storm over the last several years, dating Kylie Jenner. And that is the weirdest kind of odd couple that I've seen in a long time amongst the famous billionaire type. But Miss Jenner was by his side at the awards ceremony. He won, I think, Best Actor for Marty Supreme, which is about a ping pong player. So stuff's weird in the movie world right now. I get that. But she was wearing a dress that had 100 carats of diamonds on it. So how much did that dress cost that she was wearing? That's pretty crazy. So Marty Supreme I have not seen. I'm going to watch that now. I finally got to see another movie that took home a lot of awards. One of the great acceptance speeches by, I think it was Best Supporting Actors. Anyways, it's the Leo DiCaprio movie called One Battle After Another, which also had Sean Penn in it as this psycho general guy. Or, anyways, it's here again. It's very much, it's kind of fitting for the times. It's about South American immigrants, and Leo's character used to be I think he was like a leader of some sort of a paramilitary left-wing group or something like this back in the day. And now he is a father of a teenager, and he's been out of the fight for some years. And then you could probably guess what happens next. His past comes back to haunt him, and he's got to save his daughter. And he plays, a 50-something-year-old stoner and he plays that part very well. Makes you wonder. He's had some practice at that, but the movie was very good. Benicio del Toro was also in it, one of my favorite actors. Sean Penn, as I mentioned, Leo, and then some new faces that I haven't seen that one of them won awards. That movie was fun. And like I say, your politics, your whatever, just enjoy the movie. That's what I do. I can't get enough of it. And so I'm excited for the Oscars, which comes up in February, in the beginning of February, because that one is where you have musical acts, you have performances. I like me some Oscars. So I'll be looking forward to that. There's a couple of other movies that I have on my list. And one of the shows that I just started last night is called The Night Manager with, he's like Michael Fassbender light. What's his name? He looks like Fassbender did 20 years ago, but now I can't think of his name. That's okay. It's about this guy. He ends up working for MI6. He's kind of he becomes a secret agent. But, man, that's good. I really like it. Lots of scenes from Spain. Lots of mansions. Cool boats. I like that kind of stuff. Espionage, etc. And it happens to be, I have a new book here by John Le Carre. I hope that's how I pronounce it. But this is the fella who wrote Tinker, Tailor, Soldier, Spy, which is one of my all-time favorite movies, with Gary Oldman playing Smiley. But I've realized I never read any of the books. And so I did a little research on the interwebs, and John Le Carre, this is his first George Smiley novel. This is about the Cold War, the secret agents, everything like that. Well, then just so happens that The Night Manager, the show I just got into, is based on a John Le Carre book as well. So very cool. Super excited. Getting into some more reading lately. Let's see here. Yeah, One Battle After Another. It's out there. It's a little weird, but it's great. I thought it was awesome. And what else do I have for you guys before I get into the world of sports? Can Trump make Venezuela an oil giant again? I think we're asking a whole lot of this fella. But anyways, I may or may not cover that. We are 1 minute from calling Big Frank, so hopefully he's ready. And I've got, oh my gosh, and then John Harbaugh got fired by the Ravens. Now he is the coach of the Giants. Could that be the worst mistake he's ever made in his career, or the best? We shall find out. Lamar Jackson of the Ravens, weird. The owner's going to have him in on who chooses the coach. And Lamar's like 29, injury riddled, not who he used to be. Expensive. I hope the Ravens just crash and burn over the next few years. I've never liked Baltimore. I've never liked the football team, or I've never really preferred the city over a lot of other big cities. So Sammy's working on it. I'm gonna. We've got the Bills and the Broncos coming up at, what is today? Let's look. It's the 15th. Tomorrow, so that's Saturday. The Bills, Broncos. That's interesting. That is a 1-point spread pick'em game right there. Broncos at home in Denver. Josh Allen has to win. Like, that kid, he just doesn't have the talent surrounded him. I guess I'm a Josh Allen apologist, but I got to think you beat the Broncos if you're the Bills. He's not had to go through Joe Burrow or Kansas City Chiefs and Mahomes this year. So I just don't know what happens to the Bills in this game. The Broncos are a 1-point favorite. That's interesting. And then on the same day, Saturday football, at 7 o'clock p.m., we have the San Francisco 49ers at the Seattle Seahawks. And the 49ers, I think I mentioned last week, what a story. How they just keep getting beat up and they just continue to win. And I have no idea how they're doing that. Okay. It looks like we're getting Big Frank on the horn right now. And we're going to discuss all this because I want to get his input here. And I gotta remember to ask him about the Ben Johnson, the head coach of the Chicago Bears. Oh, we got Big Frank coming in. Maybe. I don't hear him yet.
You hear me? You see me?
Oh, I got you. I got Big Frank in the audio part. Let's see if we can't work this out here. Oh, there he is. I see him. Hey, Big Frank, how the heck are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Oh, man. I'm doing great today. You got to just be so pumped. What happened the other night with your Bears?
It was crazy. That's all I can say, man. It was unbelievable to be there, to see the game and to see how it ended. I've been to a lot of games and seen a lot of stuff. That was probably one of the most craziest endings I've ever. It was just. There's no way we should have won the game.
No, Caleb Williams turns into Joe Montana in the last 5 minutes of that freaking game. What in the hell?
I know. It was like a tale of two totally different games, and they do that a lot, and I think eventually that kind of catches up with you. I'd love for them to start off strong every once in a while, but it just seems like that's how that team is built. No matter how far they get down, they just continue to plug away, and they find it. The first half, the defense couldn't stop a cold. They were going down the field, scoring at will, and then the second half, they hold them to just 6 points. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know. There's really no way to explain, So.
Absolutely. So the excitement of the game, of course. And I thought you were dead to rights at halftime. Like, I really did. And so we're all here excited, but like, how does Ben Johnson and the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, how do they get a better first half? Because you can't do that again.
No, you can't. Especially, the Rams are coming to town, which probably I feel one of the top two teams, in the NFL with that offense that they have. But I think a lot of it had to do, we played Green Bay 3 times the last, it was 25 days. I mean, we had them 2 of the last 3 games, and then we had them first in the playoffs. So I feel there was a lot of familiarity there about what they knew we were going to do and what they would do to prevent it. But the Rams possess another. I mean, you can't get into a shootout with them like the 49 game where they score, you score, they score, you score. I mean, that's not going to work either. And I think if you get behind against the Rams, they're not gonna, stop doing what they did like the Packers did.
Yeah.
Their offense is way much better than Green Bay's, in my opinion.
So my next question, and this, I thought it was like maybe an old video, but I see this. The Ben Johnson, Matt LaFleur handshake or lack thereof. Those guys, there's some serious beef there, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. I don't know if you've seen. You don't. I don't know if you got it out there, but the video after the game, him in the locker room, where he said, and again, we can swear on here, right?
Oh, yeah, you got it. You're no problem.
In the locker room, the first thing he says is "fuck Green Bay." Fuck the Packers, I hate them, and it was on, and they taped it. And he literally said that, and he was getting a whole bunch of crap from people.
Yeah.
About, man, you can't really say that, And but that's what he did before he started his famous good, better, best thing that he does with everybody. But he literally said that, and it's like my mouth dropped, and I said, "Man, don't hear coaches do that stuff."
Yeah, and I think that's so great. I think that's so cool because, I think with this new generation of just, young men and athletes and viewers of sports, like we need some more of that kind of like just unabashed, badass, old school football guy. And I think Ben's the guy. Like, I think he's great.
It's a rivalry. I mean, there's Packers rivalry in the that goes back 100 years at one or something. And for the longest time, they just owned us. There was nothing there. But now that, we're kind of getting good, it gets back to it was like when the 80s where Bears were good, 85, and then Packers started to get good. And then it was all on them for a while. So it's nice to have that inner fight now anymore because people down here hate Green Bay hate Chicago.
Yeah,
literally. That's the other thing. That game was so. I mean, our tailgate was probably one of the craziest tailgates. I've had to be about 100 people there because it just brings everybody up, for the Packer game. I mean, it's just it's crazy. So that played a lot into it. I think with the game, now it's kind of fun to play them again because now you really have a chance. So.
Absolutely. That was just so great. And, my dad has been pulling for your Bears all season. And he's so excited that he's got a team to root for in the postseason, So so like everybody that I know and even my family, we are just on pins and needles every weekend that the Bears are playing. And it's just been a lot of fun for us too. And I'm texting Jenna the whole game. Jenna was freaking out. Man, and then it's just like the comeback of the century. That was so cool.
Yeah. With the exception of Monday night's game, every game was like that, though. They were all fourth quarter comebacks, and I think all the teams that won were trailing at one point in the fourth quarter. So it's kind of nice to see. A lot of times in the playoffs, get those blowout games because one team is better than the other, and I just think it goes to parity this year. That all these games are really, really close. I get the exception, like I said, at the Steeler game Monday night. I mean, that was kind of a for a playoff game. But all the other ones lived up to their expectations and kept you interested, all the way till the end. So,
absolutely. So, the game that's the most interesting to me for Saturday has got to be the Bills-Broncos game. The Broncos are a 1-point favorite. I've kind of been a Josh Allen apologist because I like the kid, but like I just feel like the Bills have to win this game. They have to.
Yeah, I do too. I really do think they're a better team. I think better quarterback. The only thing is if they could stop, Denver from scoring because Denver's defense is pretty good too, and Buffalo's. Got to put some points on the board, but I definitely think they got the advantage quarterback there with Josh Allen. And, you kind of, it's like all these last 3 or 4 years, it's always been, if Kansas City was there, they were always not, Buffalo out or something like that. Now, Kansas City's gone and Buffalo should have the clear shot, but they seem to struggle.
Yeah.
For whatever reason to score points or to stop. So you would feel like, well, this would be Buffalo's, to get in there and do it. So
Right. And then I gotta say, I'm rooting for the Texans against the Patriots because the Patriots, they were good for long enough. I don't want to see them win again. You know what I mean?
yeah. Let me tell you something. Houston is a team that scares me. If I was in the AFC, that defense of theirs is just absolutely phenomenal. And their quarterback, even with him throwing 2 interceptions and getting fumbles, they still did just barely enough to win because that defense can hold them. I mean, that was quite a display of defense. And even in this day and age, with the offense being like a main focal point of all games, it's what the old saying is, what defense wins championships. And boy, that's the case there.
Yeah.
They've got a tough defense. And
yeah, that is. Okay, so now let's go on let's talk the coaching carousel that it seems to be right now. You got John Harbaugh with the Giants. I mean, is that career suicide or what is that?
If he thinks he can turn it around, he's the guy for it. I guess it's a great hire if I'm a Giant guy, because you would hope he's going to bring ability. Supposedly he likes the roster, and they do have a good team. We played them this year, and they were beating us going into the fourth quarter. They're for real too, and their offense, if they can keep that quarterback healthy, they got a shot. So I think he got some talent there, and I think that's one of the reasons why he kind of jumped on that job, other than all the other ones that are opening. Of course, the Steeler one just opened up the other day. So I'm sure that's going to attract a lot of good people who have left out there. So
yeah, and I've heard crickets out of the Raiders camp for a coach. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I haven't heard anybody tied up to them. I mean, you hear, they're interviewing in Atlanta, Miami's interviewing. Stefanski is out there, which is supposed to, garner a lot of interest. But I mean, I don't hear anything about what the Raiders are doing and who they're waiting for to go hire, because there's not really a lot of, other than that Stefanski and Mike McDaniel, who they let go in my. I mean, there's really no big names left out there. I think and there's a lot of positions opening. So,
Yeah, I guess we'll see there. How about the national championship game Monday? Do you think Indiana? Do you think that's even a game?
Yeah, Indiana's been on this incredible run that you just can't. I mean, you can't believe it. And so, I don't know. Have they set a line on that game yet? Did you see a line? I haven't paid much attention because it all bears all the time.
Oh yeah, I understand. The line is at the Indiana is an 8-point favorite.
Yeah, I mean that's again for a championship game. That's a high number, but boy, they just seem to be rolling. And once they get rolling, you can't stop them. So Miami's defense though is really, really good. Their defensive line. So I would not bet against Indiana running out the table here.
Yeah.
So 8.5, a lot to give if you're betting,
That's right. Well, and you got, what's the temperature going to be like in Chicago about Sunday at 5:30?
I tell you what, that's our only, right now they're talking, because if, break teams down, it's like, okay, the Rams really should, beat us. I mean, we don't get blown out, but with their offense, but because they don't play in the cold weather, it's going to be at time around 5 to 10 degrees.
Yes.
But if the wind is blowing, they said it could be 0 to 5 below. It's almost like it was for the Cleveland game, which was second to the last game this year. And that one was like -10 with the wind. That was pretty cold that day. So that's what they're saying. It's a cold game. Guys don't play in the cold weather. So running the ball would be key. If you could run the ball and throw it. So, but it's going to be a cold day. I was kind of hoping they would either do the Saturday or Sunday afternoon game just for the weather wise. But, for ratings, LA, Chicago, what's that, the number 1 and number 2 rated cities, I guess, in the country. population, so they
Yeah.
want to get the best for TV viewers.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what it's all about, So we got the 5:30 game, so it's going to be cold.
Yeah, well, I think that's great because Matt Stafford is getting a little long in the tooth. He's been beat to hell all season. I mean, I'm pretty sure he had the lower back thing in the preseason, and I mean, I don't wish injury on anybody, and that's not what I'm saying. But I hope he's just a little rickety, is what I'm hoping in that cold.
Apparently, he hurt his finger last week too. There was a little bit of talk about that. I was reading that in the paper. He sprained a finger, hit his throwing hand on a helmet when he released the ball, but that's not much. But again, when you get out there and it's like 15 degrees, 10 degrees, that wind's blowing out there. I mean, it's cold, and I can imagine playing these games because that field's not going to be very soft. You get hit, it's going to hurt. So it'll depend on what's going on. The thing down here is they were just talking. Ben Johnson's got him practicing outside with no heaters on the sidelines yesterday. And
yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
To make sure that they know it's going to be a tough game. So we'll see.
Well, that's great. Well, we're going to be rooting hard for you guys down here in Texas, and here's to another win, and let's keep moving on through these Rams.
Yeah, we'll try to. And then Saturday, if San Francisco happens to beat Seattle and we happen to win, a lot of ifs there, we get the championship game at home the following week because we're the higher seed. So we're rooting for San Francisco on Saturday, and then hopefully we can, do our part on Sunday. So.
Well, we'll be hoping for the same thing, and thanks for joining us again, Big Frank, and here's to the best of luck, and we'll be rooting for you.
All right, go Bears, bear down.
All right, good to see you, Big Frank. Thanks again.
All right, guys, take care.
You
Bye-bye.
too. All right. Well, Big Frank, we always appreciate you coming on the show. You make the show better. And man, what a fantastic season for him and for all our friends in Chicago. It has just been miraculous, and that's what getting the right coach can do for you. And I just think they got the right guy. And Caleb Williams, the quarterback, and him seem to be meshing very well together. But, the Bears haven't seen this kind of playoff situation in many years. And the Rams are a 4-point favorite here. I do not wager on these kind of games that my heart is invested in because I am also, like Michael Scott from The Office would say, a little stitious. I'm not superstitious. I'm a little stitious. So I just stay out of these. But what I think is that if I did, I would probably put some coin on the Bears +4 because I think this stays close. -5 degrees. I mean, come on. These LA sissies going up there. You got Matt Stafford that's my freaking age almost. I like the Bears here, and obviously I'm going to pick the Bears to win because I want them to win. But, man, that would be so cool if the Niners could pull off a victory of the Seahawks, and then their Big Frank is and for, game 3 in Chicago at home in the playoffs. So go Bears. Here's to that. And I'm going to go ahead and say a smart bet on the college situation is going to be Indiana Hoosiers. Take the -8, lay the points. And that's probably going to happen. Miami's, I just don't think they can do it. What else do we have here in the world of sports? There's a lot of futures things. There's already 2 Super Bowl bets. Let's see what that looks like. The most valuable player of the Super Bowl. Interesting. In other sports news, Tiger Woods just celebrated his 50th birthday and had a star-studded bash. How about that? Oh, yes, the God of War, the video game. Me and Sammy were talking about this earlier. So God of War, which is a huge video game series that's been out for a long time, there is a live-action series coming to Amazon Prime Video. and Ryan Hurst has been cast as Kratos. Ryan Hurst is the gentleman that played Opie in Sons of Anarchy, as well as he was in Remember the Titans, like back in 95 or back in 2000, whenever that was. But damn, Ryan Hurst has got to be getting up there in age, is all I can think. He still looks great. I'm sure they've got him on some kind of, workout program to make him look like a Greek god of destruction. But we'll just have to see. Okay, what else do we have? Oh, man. I'll tell you what I'm really excited about. Because if you know me and you know this show at all, you know that I love all things swords, medieval times. I am a practitioner of historical European martial arts. So I'm going to try to stop saying all the time. My bad, guys. Sean Bean, he's been in a bajillion movies, one of my favorite British actors all time. He was in Game of Thrones as Eddard Stark, Lord Stark. Got his head lopped off. Okay, Sean Bean's Robin Hood is even grittier than Game of Thrones. Let's see here. I'm reading a little bit here. I want to make sure that, because there's a couple of different Robin Hoods that I've seen coming out. One of them is with Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, and it looks very dark, and it's like old Robin Hood, and it kind of takes a darker twist on the story. There's been about 1,000 adaptations of Robin Hood. I've seen them all. I've even seen the one from like 1936 when I'm a kid. Let's see here. In fact, it's a surprise that audience are already bored of the myth. From the big screen takes, Kevin Costner's Robin Hood was the best ever. I wish it would just tell me what I need to know. Okay. I feel like I'm getting duped. Anyway, it says that Sean Bean has got a new Robin Hood movie out. We don't believe it yet, though. But we do know that Hugh Jackman has a new Robin Hood movie coming out. Oh, boy. I bought another backpack the other day. Don't tell anybody. But I have this thing about backpacks and freaking everyday carry accessories. Oh my God. So we went over to recap this, my new John Le Carre book, which I'm excited about. And we talked Golden Globe winners. We had Big Frank on. We talked, before I had Big Frank on, it says, I don't know if you can see that. Can Trump make Venezuela an oil giant again? All I can say about that is if somebody tells you that they're the smartest guy in the room, you can be assured they're not the smartest guy in the room. That's all I have to say about that. There's some new books coming out that I'd like to read. One of them that I was going to mention. Oh, yeah, me and Sammy were talking about this one. This is great. I don't know why I find this so entertaining and funny. Probably due to my own struggles with tobacco over my 40 years on this earth. Why 20-somethings are trading their vapes for cigarettes. I love this. I don't know why. This is that kind of...
Smoking's cool.
Smoking is making a comeback. It is cool again. And the reason these kids are getting into it is because they weren't around. It's so interesting how the world works and how history repeats itself. Because when I was a kid, my grandfather had emphysema for like 15 years. The dude couldn't breathe.
Same.
Guess why? Because he's...
They would carry around.
Same, dude. And like... when you see that, and here's the devil that is, tobacco really ultimately, is that I watched that my whole life growing up. And what did I do? I still ended up being a smoker. Now, I've put that behind me for the most part, but I still have issues with it. This is me being an open book for the breakdown viewers. But so it didn't really matter. I saw a really horrific disease that was self-inflicted on my own family member, and I still smoked. But the headline is why 20-somethings are trading their vapes for cigarettes. Now, I think that's the critical thing. I'm of the opinion that you might as well just smoke a cigarette over doing a vape because, there we are. We're back. Because the vape thing is just, there's some pretty scary stories on there. The long-term effects of smoking we know of, but the short-term effects of vaping we don't really. More young people are embracing old-fashioned smoking, maybe because they consider it the least hazardous thing happening in their lives at the moment. That's where we are right now, folks. And then this little excerpt says, if the world is burning, why not engage in a little stylish self-destruction? I can't disagree with that. But that's an interesting story that I will read later.
Reminds me of that comic where the dog is like sitting there drinking something and everything around him's on fire. I'm fine.
He's like, it's all good. Fine. Oh man, that's great. So this next one, this is interesting. The feds need to bail out the pizza industry. These are the kind of headlines that get me. Like, you want to get me to read something? Give me that headline. I'll read the whole damn thing out of curiosity. The feds need to bail out the pizza industry. It says the automobile industry got one. Banks got one. Why not give a bailout to our nation's formerly second most popular food? In depressing news for traditionalists, Americans are steadily falling out of love with pizza. This is hard to believe, folks. A deeply troubling report in this paper says that while pizzerias were once the second most popular type of restaurant in this country, they now rank sixth, lagging behind coffee shops. Lagging behind coffee shops and eateries selling Mexican food. That I do believe. We, down here in the South, and our neighbors, they're not our neighbors. They are Americans. Very many of them are. Mexican food has just taken over the damn country. And I got to think Mexican food is probably my favorite food.
It's been my favorite food mostly growing up.
Yeah, I got to say, like, Mexican food and then Italian food. I love Italian food, but I find it more difficult to find a reasonably healthy meal when I'm eating Italian food.
There's something about Italian sausage that doesn't agree with me. There's a certain spice that Italians like to use that doesn't agree with me as much. Whereas the South American spices I enjoy more.
Yeah, and like with Mexican food.
It's like Indian spices. They hit different.
Yeah.
I prefer South American spices.
Yeah, like, I think the whole Indian food craze was trendy or something, because I feel like I've been like forcing myself to eat Indian food for like the last 5 years because it was cool or something, or you were not.
I still haven't experienced good Indian food in Abilene.
No.
I haven't really tried a whole lot, I guess, because the few times I have, I was just so discouraged.
Yeah. So I will say this. I've had what has been deemed as good Indian food outside of Abilene in the larger cities in this country. And it's not for me. That's okay. Because it's not that it's just not for me. Okay. I love Thai food. I love all kinds of food. But Mexican food has unseated the pizza industry. I love this. Let's see. I want to read a little bit more.
But to be specific, we are talking about Americanized Mexican food, which is, I guess, more Tex-Mex, right?
Yeah,
Literally.
we would say that more Tex-Mex. I did learn the other day
Because
that
when we go to Mexico, it's like you got to find an Americanized restaurant if you want our version of Mexican food.
that is true. That is true.
Now, a lot of their local restaurants have adapted to what the Americans want, especially
Sure.
in tourist areas.
Yes, I agreed. I did read the other day that the chimichanga is a Texas situation. That is specific to our area. The fried burrito, the fried giant burrito, which is kind of cool. That's something that I can't eat because I don't want to be 1,000 pounds. But I do find that with Mexican food, you can, or Tex-Mex food, whatever you want to call it, you can eat healthy. And, whereas I find with Italian food, I don't have that kind of luck. So let's see here. The evidence of the pizza apocalypse is everywhere. Chains are closing. Major franchises are considering putting themselves up for sale, and the entire industry seems desperate to find a way to rekindle Americans' passions for a gastronomic and cultural touchstone they once revered every bit as much as mom, country, and apple pie. And that's going to take money. See, this is ridiculous. We don't bail out a freaking food industry because our tastes have changed. No, absolutely not. Get out of here. Get out of here. I think the problem is...
But we bail out banks that fail, and we bail out auto industries that are mismanaged and, line their corporate pockets for decades and decades and then somehow failed? Oh, why can't everybody get bailouts?
Now, to be completely clear, I don't agree with any bailouts. Ever, never have. I think if you fail, you die, good riddance, good night. But that's clearly not how it works here. But
some things should be allowed to fail.
Yes, they very well should. Now, I will say what I think is the real problem is I think this is about Domino's and Pizza Hut and Papa John's. I don't think this is about pizza as a favorite food because, these...
It's about the big corps that are probably owned by a majority by BlackRock and the other investment things.
Absolutely. And because we have evidence in our own community and everywhere I go of these... wood-fired or brick oven pizza places that one of them is Trav has had on the Travie Wavy, the owner across the street of Vagabond Pizza. And they seem to do great. And then there's a place in Coleman, which is out in the sticks, and there's a pizza place there that does great. Anyways, so I think that is more about the big pizza. Okay. That was really kind of out there topic-wise, but it was funny. Adventure is out there. Making other planets habitable could be hard, but it may be easier than life on an Earth hit by a planet-sterilizing asteroid. Okay, we've seen that movie before. Okay. Well, I think... Let's hit one other thing here. Oh, I'm just going to make my picks. So let's make my predictions and picks for the NFL playoff weekend. We have the Bills versus the Broncos. I want to be right. I don't want to say what I think's going to happen. I want to be right. And I think that the Broncos win barely against the Bills. I just kind of feel that way. I think Denver's defense is amazing. Sean Payton is far better of a coach than the Bills coach. I feel bad because I can't. His name doesn't even come to mind. Okay, I think the Broncos win. Niners versus Seahawks. As much as I want the Niners to win for Big Frank and Chicago's sake, I think that this is the end of the road for the Niners. They have had just injury on top of injury. George Kittle got blew his, what was that the other day? That was Achilles. Dang. Brock Purdy is just pretty good. Sorry, I had to do it. Kyle Shanahan, that's the coach of the year next to Ben Johnson. Okay, I'll give you that, Chicago. But Kyle Shanahan, he's really a hell of a coach. He's kind of one of those mad scientists out there on the sideline. I think this is the end of the road for the Niners, unfortunately. I think they could keep it close, but I think Seattle has a very iffy quarterback in Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold could completely fall apart, and that's what we're hoping for. We want Sam Darnold to start seeing ghosts out there like when he was on the Jets and lose against the Niners. And then the Bears I think the Bears would handle the Niners at home. Okay, so Niners, Seahawks. I think this is the end of the road for the Niners. Seahawks win. Houston Texans at the Patriots. As much as I hate to say this, the Patriots are all around, I think, a better team than the Texans. The Texans has the best defenses in the league, but C.J. Stroud is a freaking head case. I don't trust C.J. Stroud. I don't. I think he is pedestrian. I do not think he is an elite quarterback. I think this defense and their coach is D'Amico Ryans is the reason why they are where they are. And I think the Patriots handle the Texans, and it is the end of the road for the Texans. Now, the Los Angeles Rams at the Chicago Bears at 5:30 Sunday with a potential -5 below zero with wind situation weather-wise happening at Soldier Field where Big Frank and co. will be. And I meant to, dang it, Sammy, I had a picture of Brian Urlacher and Big Frank to give you to put on the show, and I totally dropped the ball.
Send it right quick.
I'm going to send it right now. So before I make my final pick, I'm going to get this up on the show because, man, where is that? Big Frank sent me a picture of, maybe it's Jenna that I got it from.
It may be as low as 5 degrees.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty crazy.
And winds are expected to be 15 to 25.
Okay, I got it. This is on the social media page of Bear Force One Chicago. Okay, I'm sending this to Sammy right now. But Brian Urlacher, I think he's a Hall of Famer. He should be if he's not. But he is, by the way, he is from Lovington, New Mexico, Brian Urlacher. For those of you that didn't know, he's one of the Bears' all-time great defensive linebackers, I believe. And he stopped by Big Frank and Co.'s Bear Force One, I guess, the tailgate rig. And I sent that picture.
Coming on screen now.
Cool. There it is. So there is Big Frank and his son with Bears Hall of Fame linebacker Brian Urlacher. How cool is that? So these guys are out there. Like I said, folks, these are real fans. Like absolute, real, diehard fans. And it's just, you don't see that very often. And, okay. To close up the show, my final pick, the final game of Sunday, Los Angeles Rams versus the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field. Bears win. Bears win. That is my prediction.
Bears.
The Bears win the ball game, and they're going to have a better first half. They're going to come out hot or cold. Old Matty Stafford is going to be freezing his ass off, and he's not going to pull this one off, guys. They're not going to pull it off. So here's to the Bears. Here's to Chicago. Good luck and all the luck from the Breakdown crew here in Abilene, Texas. And you guys, thanks for joining us today. Thank you, my technical producer extraordinaire, Sam Wolf, a.k.a. Sammy to me. Thank you to all of you listeners for liking and subscribing, and check out the Travie Wavy before this show. And there's lots of other content on this Neon Parrot Live YouTube station, if you will. And come have a coffee or a tea at Majestic Coffee Shop, allegedly serving Onyx coffee. Come to the Lean, the Data Center Alley. Did y'all like how I didn't go there today? I figured I'd give that a reprieve for 1 week. Anyways, thanks again to everyone that's involved with all this. Thanks for joining us. Go Bears. And y'all have a great week, and we are out.